My stepmother and stepsister spent 3 torturous years turning my life into a living hell. The day I turned 18, I legally stripped them of my father's estate, exposed their massive financial fraud, and kicked them onto the streets without a single penny. For 3 agonizing years, my late father's second wife and her biological daughter ruled our household like cruel dictators. The day after my father passed away, my stepmother forced me out of my bedroom and into the small, damp, unheated basement room. Her spoiled daughter immediately moved into my old space, claiming the entire upper floor for herself. Every single day, my stepsister would intentionally ruin my clothes, spill drinks on my schoolwork, and steal my personal belongings. My stepmother would then blame me for the chaos, lock the pantry, and restrict my meals as punishment. They treated me like an unpaid maid, forcing me to scrub floors and clean up after my stepmother's lavish weekend parties. All the while, her mocking offspring stood by, taking videos to laugh at with her friends. My stepmother completely withheld the inheritance money left for my education, claiming it was needed for household upkeep. Meanwhile, her daughter flaunted brand new designer bags and drove a luxury sports car funded entirely by my father's bank accounts. I stayed completely quiet, swallowed my pride, and secretly documented every single penny they spent and every cruel text they sent. The toxic dynamic completely shattered this morning at precisely 8 a.m. on my 18th birthday. My biological father's true, unaltered will stipulated that his entire estate belonged solely to his only biological child, unlocked the moment I reached adulthood. I walked into the kitchen where my stepmother was already screaming at me to make her breakfast, while her daughter lounged lazily on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Instead of putting on a cooking apron, I handed my stepmother a freshly signed eviction notice and a court-approved freeze order on all her bank accounts. My stepsister started screaming at the top of her lungs, threatening to physically throw me out of the house. Right on cue, my father's estate attorney walked through the front door, flanked by 2 uniformed police officers holding official trespass warnings. The look of sheer terror on my stepmother's face was worth every single second of the last 3 years of misery. My father's widow tried to scream that the paperwork was fake, but the officers calmly explained she had exactly 2 hours to pack and vacate the premises. Within those grueling 2 hours, my longtime tormentors were forced to stuff their lives into cheap plastic trash bags under the watchful eyes of law enforcement. My stepsister sobbed hysterically as she was forced to hand over the keys to the luxury car she legally did not own. My lawyer then informed my stepmother that a forensic audit had already been launched into the funds she drained over the last 3 years. As my stepmother and her daughter stood crying on the sidewalk with absolutely nowhere to go, zero access to funds, and the threat of prison hanging over their heads, I smiled, waved, and firmly locked the front door of my house. Subscribe for more.